Hi everybody, happy Sunday. It's nice to be back with you again, and I thought I'd record this week's video to make it feel a little bit more normal again. Not that it feels very normal, and I can't see your lovely faces still, which is a bit sad. But at least you can see me, and I can give you a big thumbs up. So I miss you guys very much. I hope you're all safe and well. I'm going to deliver this week's message over here. So today we are going to look at a story where something absolutely amazing happens. So your first task is to have a think about a time when something absolutely incredible has happened to you. Can you think of anything? You can pause me if you need to and have a chat with your grown-ups and whoever else is with you. But can you think of a time when something absolutely amazing happened and you thought, no one's going to believe me when I tell them this? Is there anything? So today's story from the Bible is about a man named Thomas. Thomas was one of Jesus' 12 disciples. So he was one of the guys that got to follow Jesus around, listen to his teachings, see all of his miracles. So Thomas has seen a lot of things already that are very incredible. Some things that he probably went on to tell people, and they either went, "Oh, that's amazing!" or they said, "Did that really happen, Thomas?" So he's had quite a bit of experience of this at this time, I should imagine. Now, Thomas has quite a famous nickname, and it comes from this story, and I think you will get why. I'm wondering if any of you have got any nicknames. What do you get called? So my name's Jennifer, so I get called Jenny, I get called Jen, and I get called Jenny Lou a lot by my family, and that's because my middle name is Lucy. So you can see where that one comes from. And I have some funny nicknames as well, like Giflet and Whiffer, and I don't really know where they come from, but they're very funny. Do you have anything like that? So let's have a look and see what Thomas's nickname was. So last week we had Easter Sunday, where we had lots of chocolate eggs, hopefully, and had a jolly old good party because Jesus was risen from the dead, which is incredible. But on that day, the first Easter Sunday where Jesus has risen from the dead, the disciples were scared. They were worried because they didn't know where their friend had gone. He's disappeared from the tomb and they had no idea. So they were all scared and they were all in a room together and they locked the doors because they were so worried. When suddenly Jesus appeared amongst them. He was just there. The doors were all locked. He couldn't come through. He just appeared. And he said, "Peace be with you," to all of them and showed them some peace. And at that point, he showed them his hands. And because Jesus had died on the cross, he got nail wounds in the middle of his hands. And he showed them his hands and on his side where they pierced him as well. And he said, "It's me. It's truly me." And the disciples, can you imagine what face they were pulling at this point? Jesus is suddenly there. He died on the cross. He'd been put in a tomb for 3 days and then he disappeared. And then he'd reappeared with these wounds. So I can imagine some of their faces were like this. Some of their faces were like this. What do you reckon? Can you pull a really good face for me? I reckon there'd be a mixture of shock and horror and excitement, and it would have been amazing. So then Jesus left them, but there was one of the disciples that wasn't there, Thomas. So Thomas missed this happening and he got back to the other 11 disciples. And can you imagine the excitement? They would have been bouncing around, saying, "Jesus has come back, Jesus came, he was here, he showed us his hands." And what do you think Thomas would have thought? I can't imagine he would have believed them straight away, and he didn't. I think he thought, this is a bit far-fetched. No, I don't really believe this. Now, I've had friends before tell me stories, and I can remember thinking, did this happen? And I bet you've had experiences like that before, haven't you? Where your friend said, "My uncle's a movie star," or "When I was swimming in the sea, I saw a shark and it nearly ate me." And sometimes we sit and we think, did that really happen? Or do I need to maybe think about that a little bit? So this is where Thomas was. Thomas hadn't seen this happen with his own eyes. So he was starting to doubt a little bit and thinking, no, I really don't think that happened. So Thomas said, "I won't believe it unless I see the nail wounds in his hands and put my fingers into them and place my hands into the wound on his side." So he really, really wanted to see this for himself before he believed anything. So, I mean, the disciple could have been joking around, couldn't they? We do that all the time. We tell fibs and we have a laugh with each other. So maybe that's where he was going. So 8 days later, Jesus gave Thomas the chance to see for himself. So after these 8 days, all the disciples were together. So all 12 of them this time. And again, they were in a locked room because they were very worried. And Jesus suddenly appeared amongst them. I think we need another shocked face. Can you do your best shocked face, please? Oh, Jesus is there again. And he went to Thomas and he said, put your fingers here and look at my hands. Don't be faithless any longer. Believe. The amazing thing is, to me, that Jesus didn't get cross with Thomas. Even though Thomas had doubted it, he didn't get upset. He didn't say, you should just believe me. You've seen what I can do over the last 30 years. You know how amazing I am. He said, it's okay. Look at my hands. Now you can see. Because some people think that Jesus wants us to be perfect. And he does want that for us. He wants us to do our absolute best. But as people, we can't be perfect all the time. Just like Thomas wasn't. And Jesus knows that and he gives us space to learn, which is really, really wonderful. So Jesus probably isn't going to walk into our house today, and he's not going to show us his scars like he did for Thomas. So there's a big lesson for us to learn here. Jesus said to Thomas, you believe because you have seen me. Blessed are those who believe without seeing me. So with this, we know that Jesus asks that we believe in him without even seeing him. And that's called faith. So if you hear people saying, you need to have faith, or have you got faith? That's what they're talking about. So it's seeing without, no, it's believing without seeing. Let's get that the right way around. So if you can believe without having seen for yourself, that's called faith. Now, we know Jesus is real because we read about him in the Bible. And if you look, you can see Jesus working in our everyday lives, which is really super special. But it is okay to doubt sometimes. And it's okay to ask questions. So I want you to have a think. Do you have any questions that you would like to ask Jesus? What would you ask him? If you could ask him anything, what would you ask? And why don't you write them down and maybe discuss them with a grown-up, or you can get them to email them over to me and we can talk about it, we can discuss it. So that's our message for today. It's all about having faith and believing without seeing. So Thomas's nickname, by the way, is Doubting Thomas. So that's where it came from. And you might hear people use it sometimes. They say, oh, are you being a Doubting Thomas? And that is where it comes from. So today on our Facebook page or on the website, if you want to have a look or get your grown-up to have a look, there's an activity sheet and a colouring sheet that you can print off if you're able to. And there's also the prayer activity that you can have a go at. And I hope you've already had a go at the song. So we've got one more song to do after this as well. And the big news is on Wednesday, we're going to start doing a Zoom Kids Club, woohoo, where I can also see your faces as well as you seeing mine, and we can talk to each other. And we're going to have some games and have a story and songs and just hopefully have a jolly good time. So if you want to be part of that on a Wednesday, it's just going to be for about half an hour. We can all get together, get your grown-up to send their email address across to me. And I will add you to the invitation list. It would be great to see you all there. Now, I hope you have a really wonderful week, and hopefully I will see some of you or all of you on Wednesday. And yeah, have a fantastic week. See you soon. Bye.